This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, the annual Star Regent 24-hour book sale kicked off at noon in Dunedin with a flood of people. A special occasion has been promised when Highlanders take on the Bulls at Forsyth Bar Stadium tonight. And Dunedin's Octagon will be alight with more than just lanterns at this year's Midwinter Carnival. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. The annual Star Regent 24-hour book sale kicked off at noon in Dunedin today. It's a major fundraiser for the theatre and always draws many book hunters seeking a bargain. For one volunteer, it's about going the extra distance.
The final countdown. Book sale coordinator Alison Cunningham giving the orders, and the doors are open. The Regent Theatre 24-hour book sale's name comes from the obvious fact that it runs from noon till noon. Bruce Crom, one of the volunteers who chooses to work straight through, as he's done for more years than he cares to remember.
Well, when I first started here, we used to work off the mezzanine floor, so that was before the theatre was all altered. So I'm not sure what year that was now, but it's been quite a few years anyway.
He works through the period and says he finds the wee small hours quite relaxing.
It's quiet between the probably 2 o'clock through to about 5, but it's still interesting doing that, yeah.
Despite being surrounded by thousands of books, he admits reading isn't his thing.
Well, to be honest, I don't do a lot of reading.
Some of the rabid readers queue for hours before the event and were excited and ready to go, all with different reasons for coming to the sale, and one coming from Auckland for the event.
Oh, I collect aviation books for the last 60 years.
I don't really need to rush because the things I'm interested in probably still be there tomorrow morning if I don't buy them.
Well, sometimes I can spend a couple of hours here just browsing and listening to the music.
This year's Gold Guitars 60-plus gospel section winner, William McCall, the first to entertain the book browsers, with a host of musical acts set to grace the stage over the next 24 hours, with doors closing on the annual fundraiser at noon tomorrow. In Dunedin, The South Today.
The Aussies are coming and so are the White Ferns. Two teams that haven't been sighted in the South in nearly 20 years will take to the University Oval this summer. The Black Caps face Australia in March in the first home T20 against their Trans-Tasman rivals. It will be Australia's first match in Dunedin since 2000. Meanwhile, the White Ferns will provide Dunedin's first dose of international cricket. They'll play South Africa in a T20 in February, the same opponent they faced at Carisbrook in their last match in Dunedin 20 years ago. There will be plenty of nostalgia and memories talked about tonight when the Highlanders take on the Bulls at Forsyth Bar Stadium. Some of the side's best players are set to leave at the end of the season, making tonight their Dunedin swan song.
It's scenes like this which have electrified crowds at Forsyth Bar Stadium since Waisake Naholo first arrived at the Highlanders back in 2015. But that's all set to come to an end tonight when the franchise's leading try scorer plays his last game under the roof.
I'll miss playing here. It's my favourite place to play. I've played other places in the world, and Forsyth Bar is different from everyone else, and it's my favourite ground to play on.
The 28-year-old's off to London Irish at the end of the year, but says he'll never forget his time in the South.
Dunedin and the Highlanders have really changed a lot of things in my life, and I just can't believe how good it has been, and for myself and my family, you know, what the Highlanders have done for me.
The match is said to be the last under the roof for a host of other players as well, including co-captains Luke Whitelock and Ben Smith, although Smith won't get to take the field due to injury.
We knew early that he just wasn't ready for this one, so there's no point risking it. He's got a big year ahead of him, and the best thing for him and the team was to give him another week.
The Highlanders sit 12th on the table ahead of their clash against the Bulls tonight. They need to win that and next week's match against the Waratahs in Invercargill if they want to have a chance of making the playoffs. The crowd will be hoping their chant of Waisake Naholo will spur on the man and the team to get the job done tonight.
During breaks, during the game, and when the chant goes up, you can hear it, and I just put a smile on my face in there. But during the game, in the head of the game, I'm more focused on the game than everything else is happening. So.
Whether he hears it or not won't bother the fans as long as they see a couple more of these one last time in Dunedin, the South today.
St Joseph's School in Port Chalmers has opened its new indoor playground in the school's basement so pupils can burn off all that extra energy without going outside during the winter months. The $6,000 playground includes a large slide, a climbing wall, monkey bars and a boxing bag. Principal Tom Woodhouse says the school building was built in the 80s and the intention at the time was to build an indoor playground in the basement, but it never eventuated and the room was used for storage. The school cleared out the basement at the start of the year and pupils began designing an indoor playground as part of a classroom technology unit. He says the inside gym is having a major impact on their education as they can burn off energy on wet days. Dunedin's Octagon will be alight with more than just lanterns at this year's Midwinter Carnival. The carnival is collaborating with the Otago Museum to gather images of the Aurora Australis to be projected onto large screens in the Octagon.
A series of bright ideas to illuminate the night sky. And more than lanterns are set to light up Dunedin's Octagon at this year's annual Midwinter Carnival.
We just thought it would be a fantastic idea to bring the Aurora, which is, a real South Pole sort of phenomenon, to our event and to the Octagon.
Otago Museum Director and Aurora fan Ian Griffin says the festival approached him about using images of the Southern Lights and he's happy to share what he's filmed over the years.
I said, I've got loads of pictures because over the last 6 or 7 years I've been taking hundreds of time-lapse images of the Aurora, so I said, absolutely, go through it. So I just dumped a whole bunch of stuff on a shared drive, and I think Paul and the team are going to project it during the procession, and I just can't wait to see it.
The new edition relates to the theme of this year's carnival, Never Ending Night, and Paul Smith says it's another way of adding a new element to the event.
And we're looking also for ways to just sort of bring the space to life. So, we try every year to turn the middle of town, our city, into a really magical space. And this is just one more way to do that.
Large screens will be set up at the top of the Octagon on either side of Robbie Burns. Ian Griffin says he's loved the event for many years and is looking forward to seeing his footage added to the festival.
And as with everything in Dunedin, we love to collaborate here at the museum with other organisations, and the Midwinter Carnival folks just do such a great job every year. It's really great to be working with them again.
Paul Smith says Griffin's footage is a perfect match for the event's theme, Never Ending Night, as it's based around the Southern Lights. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, Professor Robert Patman shares his thoughts on the geopolitical situation with Bruce Munro and Global Insight. So we'll catch you after the break.
It's on again, the Regent Theatre 24-hour book sale starting noon 7th of June. Don't miss out.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it's Fix.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
Evening, I'm from the Parks Department. Have you got a permit for that fire?
Welcome back. International relations expert Professor Robert Patman says police raids this week on an Australian media organisation and a journalist's home are the actions you'd expect of an authoritarian regime. In the latest edition of Global Insight, Professor Patman tells ODT features writer Bruce Munro encroachments on news media freedom is a worldwide trend.
In recent days, the police in Australia have raided the premises of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation and the home of a News Corp journalist. The two raids come on the heels of a new law brought into force in Australia last year, a law which journalists had warned could be used to try and silence news media and whistleblowers. Welcome, Robert.
Morning, Bruce.
What's been happening over the ditch that's been of concern to you?
Well, what's been of concern to me, and I think many other people, not least other news organisations like the BBC and Al Jazeera, is that a very respectable news network, ABC, its headquarters were raided by the Federal Police of Australia. This was an extraordinary raid, and it would appear they were targeting material related to the behaviour of Australian SAS forces, security services in Afghanistan over a year ago. And this is the sort of thing you expect in an authoritarian regime, where a government moves against a news agency which has published stories which happen to be embarrassing to the government. A lot of Australian journalists are very concerned, and they feel that the government had altered the legislative framework in the last year and using this. Not necessarily on national security grounds, it might be in terms of political convenience. I mean, the far-reaching powers they had the ability to go onto the hard drive of the ABC network and not only take away material, but actually delete material on ABC's computers.
Some people have quite a low opinion of the news media. So is there a problem if the Australian government is trying to make it harder for journalists to find out what's going on?
Yes, there's an absolute problem. But let's be quite clear about this. Many politicians complain about the media because the media is doing its job in a liberal democracy, which is to ask them hard questions. So always beware of politicians who keep complaining about the media, because it suggests one or two things. Either they're lazy and they don't do their homework and can't answer the questions and therefore they're blaming the questioners, or they've got something to hide.
How does New Zealand rate in these things?
I think New Zealand does reasonably well. In this country, much of the printed media, at least, and much electronic media is owned by Fairfax. And I think the Rupert Murdoch's organisation, News Corp, owns about 45% of Fairfax. And we're lucky enough here in the ODT, we have a genuinely independent, I think it's the only independent news organisation in this country. And I think it's very important that we do have such independent organisations.
Where to from here then?
Well, it's clearly challenges ahead. One of the dilemmas facing journalists, and you know this better than I do, is all journalists want access to people who are in power. And the problem is that we do seem to have some politicians who are demanding, as part of the price of access, that the journalists write very sympathetic stories according to the politician's agenda. And you might say to me, well, isn't this a bit of an academic thing? It doesn't really affect real people's lives. It does. Take Britain. There's a lot of discussion about the contenders for the Conservative leadership. They are not mentioning that two of the contenders, Boris Johnson and Michael Gove, belong to organisations, Vote Leave, which are now under police investigation. So instead of having the headlines that two Tory contenders were part of organisations under police investigation, we just hear about other things. Now, one or two newspapers, such as The Observer and The Guardian, are covering those things. But these are relatively tiny voices or small voices in a very big media environment.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Catch us next time on Global Insight. Ka kite anō.
And you can watch the whole of that interview online tomorrow. After the break on The South Today, we check in with the Multicultural Festival in Christchurch and we take a look at what the weekend's weather has in store for you, so stay with us.
It's on again, the Regent Theatre 24-hour book sale starting noon 7th of June. Don't miss out.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent. And where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Most of us have spots on our skin. That's quite normal. Finding skin cancer as early as possible is key to successful treatment. Book in for a free check of 1 to 2 moles or a comprehensive full body check with the Mole Doctor in Waverley.
The Green Island Medical Centre offers everything for your family's needs. Whether you are travelling or coming in to discuss health symptoms, our medical staff provide the best of care. We offer Manage My Health, making booking an appointment or requesting a repeat prescription a breeze. We welcome families like yours. Give us a call today, phone 03 488 2754.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
Autumn is here and it's too late to sow seed. But don't despair, Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
The season has changed. And at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter, we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
Bowel cancer is the second highest cause of cancer death in New Zealand.
And New Zealand's got a higher rate of bowel cancer than many other Western countries.
Because it's one of those areas of the body that we don't talk about often enough.
It is one of those silent killers almost, that if it strikes and if you develop symptoms, sometimes it's too late.
So it's a major issue.
Thanks for staying with us. Pupils at a Christchurch high school have recently taken part in a celebration of their cultural diversity. Over 50 ethnicities were represented at Linwood's College Annual Festival of Nations, with traditional dances, foods of the world and a parade of national flags.
This is our third Festival of Nations Day, which is an afternoon which we celebrate all the kids that we have in our school, the countries that they're from or the countries that they are originally from. Kids learn best when they are comfortable with who they are. And we all know that an essential part of knowing who we are and being comfortable about that is seeing our culture acknowledged and celebrated. So this directly impacts on how kids feel about themselves and their relationship with the school, and that directly is the foundation for good learning.
To dance and sing, and we have so many original Filipino music that we can offer to our beautiful world.
I classify as a Fijian Indian. I feel like if something like this would happen to anyone else, I wouldn't be able to express myself as freely as I was able to do in Linwood. We've got so many different cultures and not many schools or Christchurch acknowledge that. And this is the one time of the year that we get to shine out as a college.
We run the festival because on a very pragmatic level, New Zealand, Christchurch is a bicultural nation and multi-ethnic, multicultural communities. And we love to celebrate that.
Linwood's Festival of Nations is a wonderful multicultural day where people from different communities can come together and really enjoy being in each other's company.
I feel like it makes all cultures comfortable to express themselves and not feel shy to dress up.
It's a celebration of diversity within our school.
At this school, it's normal to embrace who you are and where you come from, because everybody is just the same. I mean, this day is just a day for everybody to just not feel like they're alone.
It means everyone can celebrate their different countries of where they're born, and no one can make fun of them.
Later on, we're going to have some food, and we're all going to experience like different kind of food, different culture of food.
Hi, I'm Rhino. I'm from Fiji, and the food we have here is pakoda and chicken bites. So that's just a bunch of vegetables blend into one and just fried.
I think it's about like family and being one all together, like supporting each other. Yeah. After like what happened here a couple of weeks ago, that's really important.
Some syrup or jam? I'm Michael Venter. I'm from South Africa. I'm just helping out New Zealand with their fried bread. We just put some syrup on it, extra bit of taste.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The annual Star Regent 24-hour book sale kicked off at noon in Dunedin with a flood of people hurrying through the doors hunting for a bargain. A special occasion is being promised when the Highlanders take on the Bulls at Forsyth Bar Stadium tonight, with it being the last match for some major players. And Dunedin's Octagon will be alight with more than just lanterns at this year's Midwinter Carnival, following a collaboration with the Otago Museum. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Phil Somerville. What have you got for us?
Well, there are big Dunedin City Councils to change the nature of George Street from Frederick Street through to about Murray Place, so look for that story.
Can't wait to see that.
Yes, the reactions to the poll in Queenstown, it was overwhelmingly in favour of what's called a visitor accommodation levy, otherwise known as a bed tax. That's a big issue up there, obviously. Australian cricket team coming to Dunedin next year. I think that might be the first time in 20 years. And the White Ferns coming as well, the women's team. Waste contract in Southland, that issue is still plenty of controversy and heat in that today for tomorrow's paper. And the mix, of course. Welcome home for the troops in 1919, what Dunedin did for them. Caring for koalas, zest and limes and cooking. Parenting column deals with squabbling. Lots of us will relate to that.
I'm sure a few parents will be looking forward to that one.
You wondered about work colleagues too, so that would be a good one. Fashion, and putting apps in their place, and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. So you can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. Thank you very much, Phil. And now it's time for a look at the weekend's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's Southern View, taking a fire and emergency New Zealand testing apparatus at Dunedin's Harbour. Looking at the situation, strong southwesterlies brings showers tonight, but these will clear tomorrow. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect cloud and 13 degrees for both of you. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are also set for a few clouds, but it's slightly higher with a high of 16 degrees. In Canterbury, you can expect cloud and a high of 12 in Kaikoura, grey skies with a high of 11 in Christchurch, and Ashburton also has clouds and a high of 10. Looking at the southern towns, brace for strong southwesterlies at first, becoming fine later on, with the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore all expecting a high of 7. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, for most of you looking at gusty southwesterlies becoming fine later on. Alexandra and Te Anau are the warmest on 6, with Queenstown and Wanaka slightly lower at 4 degrees. Looking to the northern towns on the coast, Oamaru and Timaru are in for southwesterlies, cloud and 9-degree highs. Amarama and Twizel are set for southwesterlies, mostly fine and 5 degrees. In Dunedin, get ready for showers tonight with gusty southwesterlies and an overnight low of 5. Cloudy tomorrow with light showers which clear in the afternoon, looking at a high of 8 and a low of 4. And it's fine with sunny periods on Sunday with cold southwesterlies dying out, aiming for a high of 11 and a low of 5. Heading to Invercargill, showers tonight with strong southwesterlies and an overnight low of 4. Cloudy tomorrow with frequent showers, some hail as well, a high of 7 and a low of 4. Showers clearing and sunny periods increasing on Sunday, looking at a high of 9 degrees and a low of 5. And that's all our news for this Friday. For the latest news, head online to odt.co.nz. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.